Hello everybody, thanks for stopping by. I'm really glad that you did. I hope you're all having a good day. I'm sorry to have been missing for a little while. I haven't been feeling well, and today I have been running around like a crazy person trying to get things organized and everything caught up because my phone and Alexa have been going off like crazy, and if they go off again, I am going to really have a fit because we are in the path of a severe tropical storm, and it's going to last quite a while. You know, at first it was going to last until August 4th at 1 a.m. and now it's August 4th at 4 a.m. So we will lose power. I'll definitely lose internet and likely water. So we do live on the coast of Florida, and you know, it's just one of those things. Do I want a hurricane? No. But unfortunately, these tropical storms, as they get closer, they hit the warm water and can turn into a hurricane on a dime. I've been through 3. I don't prefer to be in another. So with that said, I wanted to get this video up because it's something I have been working on and I have completed, and it's on its way to its new home. So I am completely humbled and thankful and grateful for those of you who have been purchasing my journals. I can't even express in words how it makes me feel. And so I'm not going to even begin to explain. So let's get into this one. She is very near and dear to my heart for many reasons. For one, it's one of my favorite kits. It's one of my favorite stories. The title of this kit is The Secret Garden. Secret Garden. I'm sorry. The Secret Garden is the book. And it is by Angela Kerr Designs. I've been following Angela now for a little over 4 years, maybe. I am on her design team, which is extremely humbling. It's humbling to be on anybody's design team, let's face it. So anyway, it has a lot of meaning. To start, let's begin by talking about the fabric bundles and the fabrics and trims and laces and flowers and everything else she offers in her shop. She does have a website shop, for those of you who don't know, which, I mean, I'm positive you all know who Angela Kerr Designs is. And you know about her shop, but I like to reiterate the fact that there's nowhere on earth that I can get, well, nowhere here in the United States, I can get what I receive when I order her ultimate bundles. You can't possibly use everything that comes in that ultimate bundle in one journal, regardless of the size of the journal. You're always going to have leftovers. The same with any journal itself. You know, you're not going to print all of the pages, or you might, you know, that's, you know, personal preference, I suppose. But in any event, talking about the ultimate bundles, the fabrics, the laces, the trims, and the flowers, and everything else that she offers, it is what I call my one-stop shop. I can get my digitals there. I can get my fabrics, my laces, my trims. I don't have to leave the house. I don't have to order off of Amazon, which I don't like to do. I prefer to order my glues and things like that from my, you know, Amazon. And my other items, I prefer to give my my time and my money to my smaller shops, either it be Etsy or Ko-fi, or personal website shops. They are small businesses, and I prefer to give to them because, you know, they work really hard and they have quality products. So anyway, let's get into the journal. This little journal started off as, for those of you who don't know, a Bandaid box, exactly like this one. And now I have this. People often ask me what I do with my journals, or even my, especially my smaller journals, my mini journals, which I love making. They feel good in my hands, and I love writing in them. They're not overwhelming. I love poetry. I love quotes. I love reading, and I love scripture. And so that's what I use mine for. I do write in all of them. And I was going to bring a few out, but I thought maybe another time. So for this one, I use fabrics from different kits. Bits and pieces I had left over. And I did some what's called stay stitching, to keep the fabric onto the linen that this is on. And then I slow stitched it all. I did some stitching here on the leaves. I did some slow stitching here, the yellows, here and the yellows. I made some little hearts here, some French knots, which you probably can't see in the blues, some straight stitch here. Here I wanted to give it a chenille look, if you will. And the same on the front, some hearts, some cross stitches. Then I took her heavier weight fabric, and that's on the opposite side of this. In between, there is the box. I did not glue anything to the box. What I did was I made it large enough on both this piece and the piece behind it, and then I did a blanket stitch, which is called the blanket stitch, all the way around the journal to keep it together. It's never coming apart. So I did a little dangle here. I'm making something, to go on the spine. But I did an invisible spine. If you go back a few videos, I did that on video. And so there really wasn't any place for me to attach anything. So I attached what I had made, which is this sweet beaded dangle, which has a little claw clasp. I'm not a jewelry maker. This is about the best I can do. So you can just remove this, and it comes off very easily, except my thumb right now doesn't want to work. But we'll just take that off for now. I tied it with some grosgrain ribbon. There's nothing in here that does not belong to Angela Kerr's Secret Garden, and the entire kit is printed, including the ephemera, and in this journal. It has 4 signatures and is tied with some ribbon. Here I have some lace bits. I'll pull this out. Here I have some lace bits from her lace kit, from part of her trims and laces, and a button here and a button here. Okay, it's never coming off. Inside is stitched with the heavier fabric of Angela's that I stitched after I did the slow stitching. I stitched to this, and then once I had all my signatures done, I stitched them to my hidden spine and then glued in really well this part, left it overnight, and then added laces here and on the back. Okay, so let's begin. So here is one of the journaling cards. I don't remember what size I sized it down to, or even if I did size it down, I don't remember. And then a journaling card in here, which I staple with a tiny attacher, just because. So that just goes inside here. Oh, it did easily. What's keeping it? Hold on. There we go. I was putting my thumb there, so of course it's not going to go down. So then here I have the first page decorated with some of the lace, which I love. The trim feels like lace, looks like lace, but it is so pretty. And then in here, this was a postcard, which another thing is, you don't necessarily have to use your digitals the way they're intended to be, okay? So this was a postcard, and in here are some journaling cards. Here and here. I'm going to eventually have to put this down because, like I said, it's pretty chunky and pretty full. This is my own tea stain paper, but I typically will use her tea, lace, and avocado stained paper. This is one of her altered book pages from the kit, Secret Garden. Every time I say one of her kits is my favorite, she does it again, and I say it's my favorite. So, but this is one of my favorites because it's been my favorite story forever. Here is another journaling card. Just making sure it goes the right way. And another. And then another. And some of these have been sized down. You'll see that some of them are not. Just depended on whether or not they were going to fit properly and look good. Here I just adorned it with a little bit of lace. I did use all the background pages as well. Tea stain paper, altered book page. I'm going to hold it up so that you can see it. I love this trim. It's one of my favorites. I love that page too because I love bunnies. Here's just a journaling card as well, and I just rounded the edges. These come with the kit as well, but I use them as tuck spots instead of pockets just for ease of getting things in and out. Okay, and there's another. Here's a little envelope, and inside the envelope we have a couple of little more journaling cards. Oh, come on. They come in and out easily. I don't know what the issue is. Look at this one. It's so sweet. Oh my goodness. And I backed everything with the lace, tea avocado lace kit. Here's a pocket, and that just simply slides in the pocket. There's the lace, my own tea stain paper. Here are some more journaling cards. I hope you can see them because they're so sweet. And again, I rounded the edges on this one. This is the full size. Look at that. It's so peaceful. So pretty. I just realized. I'm sorry. Let me just take that little white edge off. I did not ink it. I decided to let the person who purchased it ink it. She is very, very good at it. And she's an artist, actually. A very good artist. And I decided to let her do that, if she so chooses. Sorry about that, but when I see stuff like that, if I don't do it right away, I won't. And I also see some threads. I'm so sorry. Oops. Some sometimes this will happen when you do your walkthrough. This is from the tea, avocado, and lace paper, and the avocado. These were leftover pages that I had paid, that I had done, double the pages, which I didn't intend to do, but I did. So I just turned them into journaling cards, backed them with the tea stain paper of the kit, of the tea stain lace and avocado. Here I turned this into a pocket. And I did leave these a little long just because of, for journaling space, but it's fine. It doesn't make a difference. It looks fine. And that's the end of the first signature. We're on to the second signature. Again with this trim. Love it. Altered book page. Inside this book page, inside this little pocket, we have a bigger one of the journaling cards. This I don't think is sized down. Could be. I don't remember. This is the postcard, as you can see, but I left it as a postcard. And then this one. So gorgeous. I love the colors in this kit. This is just a book page from an herb book that I had, which the owner can decide what she wants to do with it, but I left all the information on these particular herbs on the page itself after I cut it down. But I did want to add some book page, and I thought this herb book really, really went very well with the journal. I won't say Mary. I love reading. I'm sorry. Here is an uptuck, which I'll do that in a little while. It looks like I didn't glue down that little side very well. I'm so afraid that it's not going to fit. Here I just use a tiny attacher for this tag and some ribbon, and it slides right up in here. And I'll have to glue this down a little bit. I can see that it's kind of coming out the side there, but that's just a little uptuck. In here, it's just so sweet. And another book page, which if you open it up, it gives you the name of this particular violet. It tells you all about it on both front and back. So I left it as it is. In here, again, I just rounded the corners, and I left these as kind of tuck spots for ease of getting things in and out. Same thing with this side. No, this side I did leave as a pocket. So this has a pocket. This is like a little tuck spot. And they have the lace backing on them. Tea stain, this little flip up, it says, "In all things of nature, there is something of the marvelous." Is that not so true? Oh my gosh, this angel. This is from the avocado tea and lace kit. My own tea stain paper. Another envelope, and it's got some ephemera in there. I won't open it. And then a little bird. It just has some little ephemera in there, 2 little pieces of ephemera. For here, it's just, actually it's backwards. It goes like this. And what I did was I took some book page and I covered it here. And I made a little pocket with a tag. With a tiny attacher, I attached some ribbon. And then on this side, I left the book page and I made a pocket. And inside the pocket is some more pieces of ephemera. which she could put anywhere in the book or just right on the backs of them. And it actually sits on the page this way. And it sits very nicely. I thought I'd have to use a paper clip, but I think because of the weight, it stays on and stays there very, very nicely. It doesn't move, it doesn't come off, it doesn't do anything. It just sits very nicely. I was very pleased. Some more trim, some lace, and that's the end of the second signature. Third signature. Another flip up. Every flower blooms in its own time. Isn't that so true? I think there might have been some glue there, but it's not there anymore. In here, I made a little belly band. It's got a postcard. And this sweet little bunnies. And then this was another book page. You flip it down, and then you've got some more writing papers here. Flip it back up, tuck it under. It is glued on the top and the bottom, and I kept the middle like this so I could use it as a little belly band. Another flip up that says, "How strange that nature does not knock and yet does not intrude." Emily Dickinson. I love, 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 love quotes. And another altered book page. This I rounded the corners as well because I rounded the corners on this, which is just a scrap that I made a pocket out of. This is gorgeous. Just reading it. I hadn't read it before. I love how she layers everything. Well, if I could get my thumb out of the way, maybe I could get this into the pocket better. Here is another little pocket with some more ephemera, little writing spot, and some more on this side. And then this was just a scrap, but I loved it, didn't want to throw it away, so I made it just a little journaling card. I should put a little sentiment on that. I'll have to remember that. I still have to put some more sentiments in here. I haven't finished putting the sentiments in. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, goodness. Another book page. Again, it tells all about the herbs. So this one, and then this one. So I left it as is. Slides over this little tea stain paper, which is my own tea stain paper, not from the kit. Little postcard. And then some more of those journaling cards. Love these. Love these. And then again, I use this postcard as a pocket. It's very squishy. It feels so good in your hands. I really encourage you all to try making a small journal. And although it's pretty chunky, it still lays nice and flat. And that is the end of the third signature. We're on to the fourth. Love these pages. Altar book page. Tea stain. This has lines in it. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. And here is just another up tuck with some lace, lily pads. Now see that did real well. So I just have to glue the other one. This one's the little mushroom inside the little mushroom pocket. Now I did start with tying the ribbons, but I switched over to stapling them because I was afraid of tearing those. And I didn't have the much smaller. I mean, I did have some, but I was just afraid of tearing the cardstock. So I switched over to the little tiny attacher. These are little strips of like washi that Angela filled the page up with when she did the digital, but I use this as a belly band. This is Mystical. Just like that. And they slide right back underneath here. I just love this journal. But she is going to a very, very good home. This is another flip up, my favorite. The richness I achieve comes from nature, the source of my inspiration. I want that in an 8x10 on my wall. Thank you, Angela. If you could get to that, I'd appreciate it. This is just a little notepad, slides right inside here so that you can take it out and remove it, write in it, and then once you're done writing in it, you could put another one in there. And on the back, I just added a little tag. Some more tea stain paper. Is that not just adorable? It's got a little thread on it. And then another pocket. And then the last of those little cards, I used them all. Couldn't help it, just had to. And I love the dandelion background pages. Tea stained, another one of those lined pages. Some more drawing cards. The angel, the bird cage, and then again a book page, which again I left all together so that you could read about this particular herb. Now back here, what I've done is I'll pull what's out back first. This is a writing board. I think every journal really deserves a writing board, big or small, but they're wonderful because you can just take the page. Let me see if I have a pencil. And write. Okay. It's very sturdy, very hard. It's got lots of cardstock in there, as you can hear. Okay, so of course one of my favorite pages are here. And then in here are all my pieces I didn't use because I wanted them to be used for writing or decorating the journal or what have you, whatever she wishes to use it for. But there's Mr. Toad. Freddie the frog. Isn't she sweet? Oh my goodness. And all I did was I wrapped the ribbon around here and glued it. And then I had some pages left over, so I cut them down to fit inside the ribbon for writing or decorating or adding to a different journal. And that's that. What I think I'm going to do is put the pages inside each other like that. Yeah, that will work nice. I just thought of that. Except this one, I'll put on the outside so it doesn't stick out. Yeah, that works good. I didn't even think to do that, but that'll be nice. So we've got some pages and some more journaling cards. And then they just simply wrap around here. Like so. So if you have any extra things left over and you want to include them in your journal, this is another way that you could do it. And it looks so pretty. And then those slide right back inside this little belly band that I made. Like so. And then this will slide right in the back and everything holds nicely together and nothing will slide out. I probably should have put this one in first, but I didn't. Hold on. I can't really see where the side is. Let me put this one in first. There we go. I just couldn't see where the other side was. And then that just slides in nicely like that. And then I just added a little bit more trim to match the trim here, the lace. And that is the end of Secret Garden mini journal. Feels so good. Let me just get her tied back up. And I'll be adding the sentiments. You don't need to see me doing that. I have lots. But you have to really go through them and make sure they kind of, you know, match everything. That just wasn't cut straight. That was bothering me. This slides in here, slides in here. I just didn't want to cover anything of the front, and it really ties it nicely. You just, I mean, it really worked very well, actually. And they're just two little pieces, you know, snips of the lace from one of the lace bundles. Am I doing this right? Yes. Don't want it to be upside down. Tie it up. Nice little bow. They say, you know, big things come in small packages, and it's so true. And I'll just clip this back on to its rightful place, which is right here. Oops, sorry. There we go. And you have a sweet little journal with a little dangle, and she could use the dangle anywhere she chooses. But that's her. Isn't it so pretty? Okay, everybody, I'll leave all the information in the description box below. And until next time, which I don't know when that will be, hopefully soon. And until then, be well, be safe, be kind, and God bless. Love y'all. See you soon. Bye-bye.